no friends, no family, no lover. Now, the reason why I made this video is not going to be exactly what you think. I want to point out so I can awaken you to some things. We're not meant to be living like this, and it wasn't always like this, and soon in the future will not be like this. Most people work if they don't have their own business or rich. Most people work 40 hours. And what I want to implement is they're forcing you to work 40 hours on purpose. And then you might say, oh, I have the weekend, whatever, 48 hours, maybe. It wouldn't even be 48 hours. But realistically, those 2 days that you have off, even maybe 3 days, you don't really have off per se. Usually the one day you work, so technically you do have off the Saturday and Sunday basically, but Friday you still work. And with all the eating and sleeping and just doing little things throughout the day that pretty much need done, you can't really go anywhere. And then, of course, you know, Friday you would work and then you would still have to come home. It's basically like another weekday. The only thing is the next day you don't have to dread or tread about waking up at a certain time if it's early, the 9 to 5, so to speak. And why I'm saying is this is like no one has any really relationships. It's impossible to handle them, especially if you're further apart. It's almost impossible. I remember asking this one girl who bumped into me in traffic, and it wasn't like anything crazy, but I just decided to ask her if she wanted to be friends. And she's like, oh, I live far from the city, like 30, 45 minutes. She said it would be impossible to be friends. And that was that. So what I'm saying is, yeah, you might have a family, a wife, a significant other, and maybe even kids. But one, you're not going to be with them at all. And this is the whole point. If you're working 40 hours a week, realistically, how we're supposed to be living, I'm going to tell you, I'm breaking this down, is we're supposed to live in a tribe, not in a house with separated from the village, the community, the town, even the city. Our cities are supposed to be together, congruent, and we're supposed to have relationships with each other, and we're each supposed to travel with each other and amend to each other's. If you ever watch Responsibilities, if you ever watch chimpanzees or the monkeys, their hierarchy. Now, you don't need to bled into that too much. It's just a simple fact that they go as a clan. Herds go as herds. Monkeys do, like some monkeys pick the stuff off of each other's back, the lice and the bugs, uh, ticks, in grooming and so forth. Now, that's just a rudimentary of how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be with each other in towns, whether it's small villages, however you want to classify it. And we're all supposed to be working for each other, not going to all these separate places and doing this. Now, if you travel, yes, obviously you might not be in such a herd. Maybe you want to go spout by yourself, go really far. I'm sure that would be accepted. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone nowadays wants to find the littlest, smallest things they nitpick. Just forget all that. So, also, another thing is, well, as you can see, we're not really together. We can't fortify our relationships. Our work is supposed to be with our children, they're supposed to be nearby, and we're not supposed to leave them all the time. In fact, we're supposed to be teaching them. Schools, when it comes down to it, is indoctrination systems. There's no different. They're no different than that. And I'll get into that too. I don't know if we have enough time in this video because I have to do something, but I'm going to be talking about this topic at least a little bit more in the future and breaking down how the world is and why it is and how it should be. So, because it naturally happens anyway, but we're supposed to be with our children. We're supposed to be with our, whatever, husband, wife, girlfriend, and we're supposed to be with our friends. It's that simple. We're not supposed to be all going somewhere separate, all being separated. This is their plan, their whole plan all along, because there is no community, there is no tribe. Realistically, we are tribal people, but we're living like the reverse of a tribal life. We're all living separated from each other in these communities. No one really talks to each other, hardly even speaks. Most people are afraid to speak. And yeah, no one's helping each other. No one cares. Everyone's paying separate bills, which is absolutely insane. Instead, if you were in a tribe, we would all get water together for the whole village. It would not be none of this and none of that. I'm saying village so it gives you an idea in your mind. And so when you work all these hours in the week, you're separated from your family the whole time. Your friends, your wife, brothers, sisters, and your children. So then when you do get the little bit of time you have to devise it. And that's not to mention if you want to do anything on the side. You're not even going to have time to do anything on the side, such as maybe fun and games. Maybe you want to do some other activity outside your job. Maybe there's another skill you want to learn. You're never going to have the time to do that. If you got a family and working like 40 hours, that's not happening. And then don't even get me started on the amount of space and houses that are unused. And then all the houses that aren't being used and cars that are not being drove and food not being eaten. And there's homeless people starving. So we'll just call this part 1. And again, as you can see, there's no time to do anything at all, especially travel. And it's a perpetuous cycle. Now, why I'm saying this is because it's up to you, it's up to us to break this now. Now. Like right now. Most people only care about themselves. As you can see, I care about everybody else. These other people are still selfish in their own ways and don't see the bigger picture. Because if they did, you would see it, or they would be helping. Have a nice one.